Tommy, rock and roll, baby. Great to have you here.
Oh, man,
I appreciate you
nice
being on our
be
show.
here. Yeah, it was great. We really loved the first time we were playing here.
That's great, man. Yeah.
It's such a great idea to put a roof over this place and make it into a place where bands like us can come and play.
Yep, and the trains are right there, right? Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah. So, you know, I love your band. You were the soundtrack of my life when I was a teenager in my 20s, so thank you for all the wonderful music you've done. But your band's been around a long time, and you've been touring, and you're still out bringing out 5,000, 10,000 fans at a show like you are tonight. What fuels you to keep going out and, you know, connecting on the road with your fans like this?
Well, it's something, you know, I don't know if you can go to school for it. It's just something that you discover within yourself. I knew it when I was 9 years old. I wanted to get my hands on a guitar, and this is I'm aging myself. This is when like the Kingston Trio was popular.
So just 10 or 15 years ago.
And they had a guitar that I think just had, you know, like 4 strings on it, or it wasn't like the guitars that we use.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, I was 9 years old, and no one was going to put their nice guitar in my hands. So you know, I would look for neighbors who had guitars, but they didn't want me to, you know. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, I don't just let anybody hold my guitars. Anyway, my brother had one of his friends over. They were watching TV one night, and after I think they were watching a game or something. When they left, he left the guitar there, and I was like, waited for everyone to go to sleep in the house. And I just was lurking around there waiting till I heard people snoring. And so I went in and got picked up the guitar. And the house that we had, this little brick house that you'd step out onto like a slab, and then that's your front, you know, entrance where you come in. And I went outside and closed the door, and I taught myself how to play Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Oh, okay.
And I just, you know, I'd never had any lessons or anything like that.
And that was it? You were hooked?
But I heard what I wanted to play in my ear, and then I just made it happen with my hands. And here we are now.
That's something, man. Wow. You know, you guys have written such great songs and performed such great songs like Come Sail Away and The Best of Times. What would you say is kind of the secret ingredient to writing songs that last for decades, that people still as their personal anthem?
Well, I don't know if there's any way to explain it other than if you're a songwriter, you can't get away from it. And I just like sitting down with the guitar and just see where my hands go.
Yeah.
But the thing I like best is when I'm playing something and I hear more of it than I've created.
Ah.
So I just follow it like that, and
kind of following your inspiration, huh?
Yeah, just let it. You know, music will just flow.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the most fun thing. You know, when I wrote Renegade, I was in my house by myself, and I had a reel-to-reel tape recorder just for ideas. And I'd been listening to an Alan Parsons record, the Edgar Allan Poe record.
Yeah.
And they had a song called The Raven.
Right.
You remember that one?
Yes, yeah.
So I loved the way that sounded, and I'm kind of a ham-fisted piano player. I mean, my piano playing is on a lot of the songs, but it's me showing somebody in the band who knows how to play piano.
Okay.
And so I listened to it, you know, dum dum da dum dum. Dum dum da dum 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 dum. So I figured that out, and it's G minor, and once I had it, it was like well, what if I take those pieces and move them around? And it was easier to play dum 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 dum. And so I had, this is
And
what
that's the base of the song, man.
this is what happens,
Yeah. I love that song, Joe.
I love it, and I can't wait for it to find me. I can sit down and just play whatever, but when something is kind of already in my brain and in my soul, to have it go like that, then I recorded it on my reel-to-reel.
Okay.
And I had a record sleeve from A&M, and I just started writing lyrics just because you got to have words.
Right.
So I just wrote them down, and that was kind of it. And then I recorded it on my reel-to-reel and took it to the band the next time we were going on rehearsal, and then the band fleshed it out. So
awesome, man. Yeah. Last question. I know you're rushed for time. I appreciate you doing this before your show tonight. We can't wait to hear you sing. So we're a transportation show and travel. So I got to ask you a transportation question, which, you've been on tour. I'm sure you've done, planes, trains, buses, boats, everything.
Right.
You got any great on the road stories you can tell us from on the bus or whatever when you're touring?
Well, when we first started touring, one of our fans who lived in, let's see, what was it? What state was it? Well, anyway, she knew the people that ran the buses, and the DTA.
Okay.
And so she said, "Would you guys do like a little TV thing like that?" And I took to everybody. I said, "Yeah, we'll be on TV.
Yeah.
We'll do anything to get publicity." So we got on the bus and they filmed us, and we said, "Hi, we're Styx. Ride the DTA." I forget what city it was.
That's great, man.
And so
It might have been Detroit.
it wasn't Detroit.
It wasn't
though.
Detroit. Okay, all right.
No, it was.
That's all right. Yeah, but you did a little bus PSA.
It would have been great
huh?
if it was Detroit.
Yeah.
But so and buses and we are on buses a lot.
I bet you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
we came here on a bus.
Oh, okay, right. Of course.
And,
Yeah. And you heard the trains when you were talking go by. The train to get to this place is right out there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man, and best wishes tonight. And
thank you.
You've had an amazing career. And
Thank
you put out some of the most iconic music in America and around the world. Thank you for what you've done for all of us.
Well, thank you for, we can't do it without an audience. That would be a rehearsal.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we can't. We're going to watch you when you rehearse, I hope. So, yeah. Kevin, man, I can't believe I'm here with you. REO Speedwagon is, one of the iconic bands of my teenage years and 20s. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm excited you're here tonight with Styx. And, both your bands have iconic music, but you wrote two songs that, have become to me like anthems for my life. And they are Keep On Loving You and Can't Fight This Feeling. I'm gonna keep on. Dude, I mean, you wrote those. What was going on in your mind when you wrote those songs? They're just amazing.
Well, it's songwriting is a very mystical experience.
Yeah.
There's kind of no rules. There's no norms. As a songwriter, you just got to be ready when the spirit moves you. And normally it's in the case of Keep On Loving You, I woke up in the middle of the night. Stumbled down to my little in-house recording studio, which was, the size of this chair, basically.
Yeah.
And I just had these three chords in my head.
Okay.
The intro, dum bum 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 bum, and I just started playing those on my little electric piano. And usually, for me, if I have a musical idea, or if I'm just sitting there, kind of putzing around with the guitar, eventually if I stick with it long enough, something will start to develop musically, and then it just kind of depends on what's going on inside. And I had a lot going on inside of me when I wrote "Keep on Loving You," and but you know, I find that I usually write the verses first
Okay.
with songs. That's just been not because I try to do that.
Yeah.
That's just what usually happens.
Music and words? Or-
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and then and usually the angst or the you know, the loneliness or
Yeah.
the pain, that type of, you know, those type of emotions come up first,
Okay.
and that becomes the verses, that becomes the story, and then at some time in the future, whether it's the next day, the next week. In the case of "Keep on Loving You," it was the next day. The chorus came, and the chorus normally in my songs ends up being the hopefulness.
Ah.
So the verses are kind of the angst that where the emotion came from. And if you listen to "Keep on Loving You," those verses are pretty dark, but in the chorus it's like, "But I'm going to keep on loving you." So it's a hopeful song. And "Can't Fight This Feeling" was the same thing, except that in the case of "Can't Fight This Feeling," the chorus came 10 years after the verses.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's just no
In the
rhyme or
laboratory of your subconscious, it was
It
working.
was.
Yeah.
I wrote a number of horrible choruses for that song.
Okay.
But finally came upon the real thing.
That's great, man. So REO Speedwagon, I guess, is on a break now or something, but you're touring as the Kevin Cronin Band now, right?
Oh, that's right. Imagine that.
Yeah, yeah. So what's that? How's that going? How does it feel? All that.
Well, you know, I'm very grateful to my good friend Tommy Shaw, who you were just talking
Yeah.
to, and for the whole Styx organization for believing in me and bringing the Kevin Cronin Band along on this tour, as opposed to REO Speedwagon, which was the original plan. You know, we go back a long way, you know.
Yeah.
And the friendship that I have with Tommy and JY and the boys is at the core of this partnership. That it didn't come from promoters or agents or managers. It
Yeah.
came from the musicians ourselves.
I love that.
Which makes it just it's a different vibe.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
authentic, huh?
It's authentic, and
Yeah.
you can, if you hang around here, you'll see that, you know, both crews, you know, work together. You know, there's no, you know, as Tommy said back in you know, the year in our first tour in 2000, he was quoted as saying, you know, I think he said something like, "The dressing room doors are never locked. It's like we're one big band."
That's awesome,
And
man.
that's you know, that's what you hope for.
Yeah.
You know, and we had that same experience with Train last year when we toured with Train. And,
Okay.
But it's not always like that. We've had, you know, some other experiences over the years too, which I'd rather not
Yeah,
get
yeah.
into. But the combination and the camaraderie between our bands that are out here
Yes.
this year is pretty remarkable and pretty unique in the world of music touring.
That's great. One last question, Kevin, would be, you know, when you're not touring and you're not writing music or whatever, what's one thing that you like have a hobby or you do for fun that maybe your fans may not know about?
Well, you know, it's funny when your job is something that you love to do, it's almost like my job and my hobby are very similar.
That makes sense, yeah.
But I like to stay active. You know, I think that's really the key. And I used to be a runner.
Okay.
But
I can
you know,
tell you look fit.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
As the years went by, though, my knees started getting sore, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. My top priority is what I'm going to do tonight, later on.
Oh, right.
And that means I got to be nimble. I've got to be able to move like a person far younger than me.
Yeah.
Because you know, every night toward the end of our show, I walk up to the mic. It just happened one day last year. I just said to the crowd, "Rock and roll will keep you young forever." So
I love it.
I gotta
You gotta personify
I gotta
that.
walk
Yeah.
the walk, right? So I had to stop running, and I loved to play tennis. I had to stop playing tennis, but the one thing that I get that same physical as well as the emotional benefits, because running, the emotional benefits of running are equal to the physical benefits. You just get to a point where things at least for me, things become clear in my mind. If I'm like, I'm looking for an answer or even looking for the right question.
Yes.
When about 3 miles into a run, it's like I would have that moment
Lock
of
in.
clarity.
Yeah.
So recently, I started walking on the beach, and it's a different type of exertion. But for some reason, from where our little place is, there's a jetty that's about maybe a mile down the beach, and when I walk in the soft sand, so it's a little
Okay.
tougher.
Yeah.
But by the time I get there, I have that same kind of clarity of thought that I used to have in the middle of a run. So just
beautiful.
walking on the beach, man, it's a beautiful thing, and it's lucky that I live in a
Yes.
city that has some nice beaches.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Chicago. We had Lake Michigan and the great
Yeah.
beaches there, and now in Southern California, there's that big old Pacific Ocean, which I love, and I feel so fortunate that I get to watch the sunset any day that I'm up there, and I know that on December 21st, the sun is at its southernmost point in the horizon, and on June 21st, it's at the northernmost point of the horizon. So this past June 21st was the day I got home from the first leg of this tour.
Oh, great.
And as soon as I got dropped off, I jumped in the car, drove up to the beach, and because I wanted to be there to see the sunset
Summer
on the
solstice,
summer
baby.
solstice.
Yeah.
So things like that, they keep me in touch with the planet,
Yes.
with nature. And we celebrated the 40th anniversary of Live Aid day before yesterday.
Oh.
And we were honored to be invited to play at Live Aid, which we
Yes.
did. And Live Aid really, it not only changed the world, but it changed the whole mindset of not only everyone that played there, but everyone who attended, and even bands that didn't play there got that feeling that as a musician, as a rock and roll musician, the music has this great power to be a force for good
Yes.
and to help people. And up until then, I don't think people really thought of it that way. It really took Bob Geldof to go to Africa and see what was going on down there, and my hat's off to him, man. And ever since then, we've been involved with Styx many times. Just when something happens, when there's a catastrophic event
Yeah.
that's in your area, like the tornadoes that went through southern Illinois, the tornadoes that went through Kansas, the flooding in and around Des Moines, Iowa. As soon as that happened, it was like a no-brainer. Either Tommy Shaw calls me, or Robin Zander calls me, or I call Richard Marx, and sure enough, we all get together and the Midwest, the
Yeah.
Midwest bands, we put our energy
That's
together.
great, man.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of I'm honored to have been invited to
Yeah.
Live Aid, but I'm proud of the music community for the effect that Live Aid had on all of us, and for the fact that 40 years later, we're still got that vibe. So
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So rock and roll is not only keeping you young, you're using it to make a difference in your world.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's wonderful.
We all got to do whatever we can.
Yeah. Well,
that's
bless you,
what it
brother.
comes
That's
down to.
wonderful. Yeah. Good
nice to
times
talk
and
to you.
great luck tonight. I know you're going to blow it out.
I think so. And I want to get to Peru. I've been to Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile. I've never been to Peru. So
He's your connection.
okay.
Howard, thanks for having us in, man.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this is great. We're looking forward to seeing the bands Styx and the Kevin Cronin group tonight, his band. But it wouldn't happen without your venue. Tell us about this venue that you created.
Ironically, this is our 5-year anniversary, and our first bands that we opened up with was Styx and REO Speedwagon.
Really?
So this is a very special night for us.
That's awesome.
And, this was formerly a baseball stadium.
Okay.
And the Bridgeport Bluefish played here. And we had a different vision, and the vision was we can make this into an entertainment mecca. And we were fortunate enough to be able to put a tent on the top of this, a tensile fabric roof that's over 60,000 square feet. And goes up 125 feet in the air. So it's while it's weather protected, it's also the beauty of being outdoors.
Yeah.
And however, as good of a developer as I may or may not be, it's nothing without the talents of the Koplicks, Jimmy and Jeremy Koplick of Live Nation, who promote and book this place every day, day in, day out.
That's something. So besides music, what other kind of things? I know you have big bands, but what else do you bring in?
We'll bring in on Saturday or Sunday, we have the Pizza Fest.
Okay.
We have an Asian festival coming. We do, for the Bridgeport Rescue Mission, we distribute turkeys to the public. We do a lot of graduations. We do 14 graduations. So we're really very community minded, and we think that we need to be part and parcel of the community.
Yeah.
Not only music, but other events.
And tell me about capacity. How does all that? How many people can you sit in here and that kind of stuff?
So we sit over 7,000 people in the venue. We have the largest stage in Connecticut. It's 100 feet wide by 75 feet deep by 75 feet high.
Oh, the performers probably love that.
Oh, they love it. They love having all that room.
Yeah.
And our back of house is over 28,000 square feet. So we really, truly cater to the performers and try to make this their home for the day that they get in here.
Yeah, that's something. And there's a train running right behind here that I think a lot of people come to the venue with. Tell me about how that is positively impacting you.
That's the cool part. So everybody sits there, oh my God, it looks like Yankee Stadium or Safeco Park. As you see the trains, both Amtrak and Metro North going by. But what people don't realize is it's so easy to get here, whether it's by train, whether by car, whether it's by ferry. And the train stop is literally about 300 yards away, and lots of people come north and south via train.
Yeah.
So we love it. We
That's
absolutely
great.
love it. And then so do the conductors. They very much enjoy honking the horn. It's,
Yeah.
So
in the middle of a song
Oh
when they
yeah.
come by.
So I'll tell you a funny story. So James Taylor, who comes here often, really incorporates the train into it. And the last time he was here, he sang Fire and Train.
Oh, I love it.
It was great.
Instead of Fire and Ice, Fire and Trains.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Wow. Yeah. Well, tomorrow I'll be interviewing Justin Vonishak, the guy that runs Metro North Trains.
Oh, how
He's
cool
coming
is
up here to
that?
meet with us. Yeah. And of course, we got Ben here that runs Connecticut Trains. So this is a big, cool. This is the power of public transportation, right? Bringing people in. You don't have to find all that parking, but you do have a big parking lot out there.
Well, we have a lot of parking, but you can enjoy yourself. You can take the train
That's
coming
true.
up.
Have a few drinks here.
Have a few pops, and then go home safely.
Yeah.
So we encourage people taking the train. So it's really a wonderful accessory to our building.
That's great. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up then.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, man. That was great. And we can't wait to see this place in action tonight and rocking with these two powerful bands.
Well, thank you so
on your
much
5th
for joining
anniversary.
us.
Congratulations.
Big number 5.
Yeah, there you go, man. So tell me where we're at.
Hey Paul, welcome to Connecticut. We're here at the Chester Hadlime Ferry. Excited to have you here. The state of Connecticut operates 2 seasonal ferry services across the Connecticut River. This is one of them, the Chester Hadlime Ferry. We're excited to have you aboard and looking forward to talking more about it.
All right, we're on the way, huh?
Yes, sir. We're starting our journey across the river to the Hadlime side. Right now we're aboard the MV Selden 3. The Selden 3's got some history to her. She was commissioned to be built by the state in 1941. Her keel was laid. Due to the shortages of steel in World War II, she actually wasn't splashed until 1949 and then put into service in 1950. So she's been running the same route since then.
Wow.
Obviously, we've made some modifications in the time, but she's fully maintained by the state of Connecticut and the crew here you see on site.
Tell me about this castle we're coming up to.
Of course, so Gillette Castle, very mutually beneficial relationship for our service here. You'll see it's a great view, and then when you go up there shortly, it's a great view of the river and the boat from up there. So early 1900s, William Gillette from Broadway, which you'll find out more about, built that castle. There's some great stories from previous ferry captains of him coming barreling down the mountain on a motorcycle and came onto the ferry and went right off the other side. So
The first Evel Knievel.
yeah, exactly. He's fantastic, fantastic supporter of the ferry and a great iconic piece to this service here. really draws in folks from all over the state, all over the country, really.
And you have ferries in other places too, right?
Yeah, so about 30 miles upriver, we have notably our most historic ferry, the Rocky Hill Glastonbury Ferry, started in 1655.
Wow.
So it's the nation's oldest continuing running ferry. And then, this is our younger of the two, I guess you could say, started in 1769.
Well, welcome to Hartford and welcome to our state capital.
Thanks, Garrett, man. This is great. Yeah. Well, Garrett, as the Commissioner of Transportation here in the state, I'm interested in, you all do a lot transit, but a lot of else, right? Tell us about that.
So Connecticut DOT, we're not just responsible for the state's highways. We also are responsible for a large portion of the state's bus network under the CT Transit umbrella, which is in Hartford, Stamford, New Haven, Waterbury, and a few other cities, but then also the state's rail system. So we have CT Rail, which goes from Springfield, Mass. Down to New Haven. We have the Shoreline East, which goes from New Haven to New London. We have Metro North Railroad, which goes from New Haven all the way into Grand Central Terminal in New York City. And then we have some branch lines as well. So we're a truly multimodal agency. We have 3,300 employees, and we've been growing. We're at our highest staffing level in a few decades. And we have a lot more work on the horizon that we're really trying to get underway to try and improve public transportation here in our state.
So Connecticut plays an interesting role, I think, kind of in the history of public transportation and transportation in general. Tell us about some of those fun facts that are, I think, places Connecticut uniquely.
Yeah, I mean, so Connecticut is kind of an innovator traditionally. We're not a huge powerhouse or huge state like others, but we did pass the first law regulating speed limits on our roadways. It was in 1901. We set the limit for city streets at 12 miles per hour and county roads at 15 miles per hour. We also had a history where the first presidential motorcade occurred here in Hartford with President Teddy Roosevelt was driving in an electric car in 1902 on the streets of Hartford. But then we have a lot more involvement in transportation in general. We produce massive nuclear submarines. We produce jet engines at Pratt & Whitney, helicopters at Sikorsky Helicopter, and then we also have a history with the oldest continuously run ferry system in the United States and possibly the world, which started in 1655, running between Rocky Hill and Glastonbury.
So your career is wide and varied in transportation and government. I love it, kind of like mine. I've had a little both, and you're very well suited for your new position, which is chair of the American Association of State Transportation Highway Officials, right, or AASHTO, a great organization, represents all 50 state secretaries of transportation. Tell us about what some of your priorities are and what you are looking at in this year of 2025.
Yeah, so AASHTO, you get to serve a one-year term as president, and you get to choose an emphasis area. So I chose safety as my emphasis area, really focusing on a few different aspects. One, focusing on our communities and really talking to the communities in which we're going to be working and living and say, what do you want to see to improve safety in your community? Because what works here in Connecticut is not what works in Wyoming. Every place is different, and we need to know what the residents there actually want to see. The second area is on the behavioral side, so the users of our systems. What are they doing behind the wheel that is making it unsafe for people to be on our roadways? But also talking about what are we doing on the transit side and public transportation side to ensure that users are having proper etiquette on the system, make it a safe system for everyone. And the final piece, which is most important to me, is the safe workers. So that's a big component for us, is how do we protect the workers in our transportation system, whether they're working on the roadside, whether they're operators of a bus, or working on the rail side. How do we make sure that those workers get home at the end of their shift? Too often people don't view them as a person working there. They just view it as something they're passing by. We need to humanize them and give them the tools and equipment they need to stay safe. The other big thing that we're doing right now is focusing on reauthorization of the Surface Transportation Bill. Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, it's only a 5-year bill. It expires in September of 2026. So we're talking about what our priorities are at AASHTO to ensure that we don't go backwards, that the funding that we received under IIJA is the base, so we need to grow from there because we have too much work to do in all modes of transportation, and we need to continue to invest.
That's great, Garrett. And you know what else is great? Is this state capitol, man. I love this with the gold, 24-karat gold leaf dome. Would you mind taking a few minutes to show us around?
No, I'd love to.
Awesome, man. Let's do it.
Thanks. Yeah, so what we're looking at now is called the Genius of Connecticut. It was originally on top of the dome. And then in the 1930s, there was a storm and it was damaged. The supports that held it up there were damaged. And, this was a massive bronze statue. So they had to take it down. And then during World War II, to add to the war effort, they actually broke it apart and melted it down to create ammunition for the war.
Wow.
So back about 40 years ago, there was an effort to remake the Genius, and they ideally want to put it back up on the dome. So we have two in here right now. This is the cast version, and then the version under the dome today is the full bronze version that would go up on top of the dome.
Okay.
Yeah, so here, this is what's called the figurehead from the USS Hartford, which was a warship during the Civil War. Admiral Farragut was in charge of the entire fleet, and during the Battle of Mobile Bay, his flagship here, the Hartford, the whole harbor there was mined, and they called them torpedoes at the time. So he knew he had to break through the mining of the harbor, so he streamed out to his ship, and then the message spread through the entire fleet, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And that's become one of the most iconic moments in U.S. naval history, and Admiral Farragut is just one of the greatest admirals in our nation's history as well.
So he made it through?
He did. He did. Many people were killed and lost limbs. Many Medal of Honor recipients on the USS Hartford, but its memories lived on. So what we have here is the statue of Nathan Hale. He is officially our state's official hero. During the American Revolution, early on in the war, he was, I believe, 21 years old. He was a school teacher and here in Connecticut, and he was caught by the British, and he was eventually hung shortly after being caught by them. But while he was, right before he was being hung by the British, his famous line, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." And so he's become a symbol of, patriotism. I believe there's a statue of him at the CIA headquarters as well. And he is a graduate of Yale University, so there's a statue of him at Yale too on campus there as one of their most famous alumnus. So this is our state senate chamber. There's 36 state senators who serve in here. They call it the Circle. It has a tradition of unlimited debate in here.
Unlimited?
Yeah, so they could filibuster as long as they wanted. The famous part in here is the chair, which is used by the presiding officer or the president of the Senate. In this case, it's usually the lieutenant governor of the state who presides over the Senate, and it's made out of wood from what's called the charter oak. So back in the 1600s, Connecticut had a charter as a colony. The king sent his judges and men over to try and take the charter away and abolish Connecticut's charter as a colony. So the Connecticut colony leaders hid the charter in an oak tree, which became known as the charter oak tree. And so eventually they couldn't find the charter, they couldn't remove the charter, so Connecticut remained a colony. And then it was probably late 1800s, early 1900s, during a very large storm, lightning strike, the charter oak fell. And so they used the wood from that famous tree to make numerous things like the chair for the state senate and other things throughout the state. And they actually have spread what's called the scions of the charter oak, using some of the acorns and spread them across the state.
I love that.
Yeah.
Lisa, tell me about the role that customer input played in the design of these battery electric buses.
Oh, so the Connecticut DOT has an award-winning customer experience action plan. We spent a year doing outreach in person with customers across the state. And one of the things we did was we had a seat lab. So we brought a bus down to New Haven, to our green there, and had a variety of different seats for customers to select from. So in my opinion, I like the fabric seats, but turns out our customers preferred something that is water resistant, and our maintenance division also prefers something that's vinyl rather than fabric.
For cleaning,
So
yeah.
it has, we've been able to implement our new vehicles have all the customer selected seats in them.
Wow. Was there any other things that they did?
There's a lot of things about information. We got a lot more focus on getting real-time information out to our customers at the bus stops themselves. So as part of our bus stop enhancement program, a statewide program that we're in the process of setting up, we're going to be installing real-time information at many stops around the state.
Alicia, this is great. Union Station in New Haven. Tell me about it.
Yeah, welcome to New Haven. So this building is really amazing, and it's actually the third building that's been on this spot. Originally, the first Union Station was built here in New Haven in 1848.
Wow.
And that station was replaced in 1875. And that building lasted here until 1918 when a fire destroyed the structure. So this building was built here in 1920, and it's stood here ever since.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we love it. It has so many really interesting architectural details, and we've just entered into a project to redo the whole interior.
Oh, wow. And you've got, it looks like a lot of services that come in here, mobility services.
Yeah,
Who's coming in here?
This is a great multimodal hub. We have Amtrak, where we have over 700,000 passengers traveling through here on Amtrak every year. It's the busiest Amtrak station in Connecticut and the 10th busiest across the country.
Wow.
We also have Metro North service here that goes from New Haven down to Grand Central Station in New York City. And we also have CT Rides, which is the Hartford line, which goes from New Haven up to Hartford. We also have tons of both regional and local bus service.
Okay.
Right here from the station.
So big multimodal hub.
Big multimodal hub.
So this is a pretty cool facility. Do you all work with Connecticut Rail, like on this? It's a joint facility?
It's a joint facility, but Metro North is responsible for the maintenance of our vehicles here.
Okay.
So these are our M8 equipment. So we do the 10-year changeout, which is right here. And then we also have the other two tracks are running repairs.
That's awesome. I think that's critical to have the feedback you're getting from your employees. What other kind of things are you working on?
Sure, so one of the other things we're trying to do is really improve the travel times for our customers.
Okay.
And we started that on the New Haven line here in Connecticut. So we have 3 Super Express trains in the morning and 3 Super Express trains in the afternoon. They leave out of New Haven, get to the Grand Central Terminal, and then vice versa. So previously, they were about 110 minutes. We're able to get them less than 90 minutes. So we really essentially cut 10-minute travel time off those Super Expresses. And when you look at the overall travel time from New Haven to the city and vice versa, we're essentially cutting 25 minutes off each of those trips, which is 50 minutes a day, which equates to almost 9 days a year. So that's time that we're giving back to our customers where they can enjoy it with their friends, family, loved ones. And we're really excited about that. And we want to do more of that. We're looking to do the same thing over on our Hudson line with trains from Poughkeepsie. We have a similar setup. Trains coming out of Poughkeepsie to the city and vice versa, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Our goal is by this fall to have those 90 minutes or less.